I travel all over the country. I fly commercially. Like I'm all, I have seen and witnessed now more than ever, the amount of African-American men that have come up to me literally like, hey man, you're my hero. I'm like, what? Really? I did not have that in my bingo card.
This weird push by the Trumps to appeal to more black men only shows how completely out of touch they are. What has Donnie Jr. done to have anyone come up to him and declare that he's their hero? And quick side note, did anyone ever think to ask him why black women don't run up on him the way he claims men do? Maybe because the more disenfranchised the people are, the more they recognize who fuels it. It's actually not about appealing to black men. It's actually about telling their racist base that they're appealing to black men so that they can feel more comfortable dismissing the loads of increasingly blatant things that they say.
These lights are so bright in my eyes that I can't see too many people out there. But I can only see the black ones. I can't see any white ones, you see? That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come. That's a long way, isn't it?
He did it with Jewish supporters, too. Tossed out several damaging stereotypes to audiences as if they agree with his bigoted views on them. It always ends in laughter and assumptions that he doesn't really operate with that worldview.
I think that's why the black people are so much on my side now, because they see what's happening to me happens to them. Does that make sense? I've heard that. When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, that mugshot is number one. Elvis Presley's number two, and Frank Sinatra's. They had Frank Sinatra for fighting, and they had Elvis for, I don't know, something in a gas station. He tried to hold up a gas station. I don't know, something. Elvis. So Elvis is number two, but he was always number one. The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. They do shirts, and they sell them for $19 a piece. It's pretty amazing. Millions.
So black people that he's well known for discriminating against are on his side now because what they're seeing happening to him happens to them. Makes you wonder why when black people are outraged at the injustice of policing, where profiling and fatal attacks are carried out without any consequences, this guy isn't having press conferences about how we're a third world country with a weaponized legal system. Weird how that works. So his bull conclusion that black men are on his side because they deal with an unfair system doesn't add up. He actually fights back against all that reality.
That, and I think it presents a problem for the Trump campaign, because what you've seen over the past, I would say since the beginning of this presidential cycle, is Trump hasn't done much to expand his base, right? How do I get more voters in? How do I make up the 7 million voter gap that I lost to in 2020? And if he's not expanding his base, and there's more and more Republicans saying, 59% of Nikki Haley voters saying, hey, I'll not vote for this guy if he's on the general election ballot, this presents a problem for him. And while he might create the best new sneaker and thinks that's going to appease African-American voters, the truth of the matter is, in rhetoric and in policy, he's failing when it comes to expanding the voter base.
Like with the rest of his supporters, Trump thinks that he can toss out one-liners that he assumes resonates with that one group and that they'll be on board with him without any policy plan or even voicing any agenda items that he feels will help them, because he actually doesn't give a damn. It's all based on appearance and window dressing, which is a role Senator Tim Scott is very happy to fill.
When Biden ran, he pledged he was going to pick a female vice president in 2020. What qualities are you looking for in your vice presidential pick?
Well, always the first quality has to be somebody that you think will be a good president, because if something should happen, you have to have somebody that's going to be a great president. A lot of people are talking about that gentleman right over there. And he's been so great. He's been such a great advocate. I have to say, this is in a very positive way, Tim Scott. He has been much better for me than he was for himself. I watched this campaign, and he doesn't like talking about himself, but boy, does he talk about Trump. And I said, I called him. I said, Tim, you're better for me than you were for yourself. But he's fantastic, and he's a fantastic person.
Someone who can step into the role.
Most importantly, you have to view that.
So the Trump's pitch to black voters includes stories of black men dropping to a knee to kiss Junior's hand and assumptions that Donnie's criminal activity speaks to the soul of black America. They're pretty quiet on the very real things that he's done to hurt and attack Black Americans his entire life, though.
Let's just be clear about Donald Trump's record for Black people, because I wrote it down. Under Trump, the Black unemployment rate went up and the uninsured rate went up. His tax scam reinforced discrimination. The typical white household got double the cut of a typical Black household. The COVID response disproportionately affected Black people, left us dead. Disproportionately affected Black-owned businesses. They closed. He pushed to bring back stop and frisk. Like, do we need to go back to Central Park 5, birtherism? Like, there's a list here. I can go on.